Can we get into like what he said and why it's wrong?
Yes, let's do that.
So,
That's
like,
important.
There's like 3 different things, right? So it's like the White Lives Matter tee was like the first thing he did that people got mad at. But it didn't have the same pushback as some of his later stuff. But obviously like White Lives Matter stuff is like antagonistic.
You think maybe that's because as much as people might agree with the idea of the Black Lives Matter movement, the organization has got some flack. So we're like, all right, well, I'm not as married to this.
Oh yeah, he
because of
picked the most
organization.
pussy time to be provocative about it.
Yeah.
Like, if you really want to be provocative about Black Lives Matter, you do it immediately when the movement is moving.
Dude,
you don't
August
do it
2020.
Exactly. You don't do it after if they just basically came out as I don't want to say scam, but like they were basically stealing money from from the charity.
Yeah, but you would have to learn that information to have that thought to put it out on a shirt.
Well,
So
I don't think
maybe
that's
he
the reason
thought-
why he put it out.
No, but I mean, like prior, he might have thought the organization was doing good. So
Didn't he like
wouldn't-
raise money for the organization?
Yeah,
at
he
one
did.
point?
No, he
No,
did. He
I
said he
don't
was
know.
raising money for Breonna Taylor. That's the real Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
So because he wouldn't have raised money for Black Lives Matter if it was supporting George Floyd, because he doesn't believe that George Floyd was killed by Derek Chauvin. He
Now,
believes-
after he watched
Now,
Candace Owens' documentary.
I see.
Because
Okay.
before he did. And
Okay. So basically the 3 things. Go.
Yeah, so it's the White Lives Matter tee, and then saying that George Floyd wasn't killed by Derek Chauvin, but he was killed by fentanyl.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I guess, like Charlemagne even pointed this out, is just like objectively not true.
Yeah. I mean, the coroner has even said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is obviously the anti-Semitic stuff.
Yeah,
Which I
he's-
think some people don't completely understand why what he's saying is objectively wrong.
So let's break all this down, because this is the really interesting thing about like the Kanye headlines and the podcast, et cetera, that he's been doing, is that different groups of people are upset for different reasons, right? And they don't really understand why the other groups are upset.
Yeah.
Right? And I was asking people, I was down in Atlanta doing this movie, and I'm at this bar, and there's a couple dudes that are sitting next to me, like rich black dudes. They're at this hotel, right? And they're from, one was from Chicago, the other one was from like the Atlanta area. And I was like, did you guys watch the Kanye thing? And they're like, yeah, we watch it. And I was like, well, what are your thoughts about it? And I was like, they go, it was really fucked up. I mean, that White Lives Matter thing was fucked up. Like, I can't believe he did that shit. And the George Floyd, I fucking can't believe he did that shit. I'm like, what do you think about the stuff he was saying about the Jews? And they both were like, don't they own a lot of shit? And they didn't feel bad about it. They weren't anti-Semitic in any way. They're like, but don't they own a lot of shit?
I
Like,
talked to a wife who had the same reaction.
so, and I think the reason why this is because a couple things. And I'm glad, Dov, you're here to speak on this, right? Is not, first of all, there's only 2% of the country is Jewish. Most people in America have never met a Jewish person.
There's like 14 million Jews in the world.
Most people in America, I guarantee you, have never met a Jewish person.
In Texas, I didn't understand there were like last.
You meet one, you feel like you met enough, but that's why you feel that way. But most people in America have never met a Jewish person. So I think what's happening is this. They don't know about Jewish history, and they don't know about the Jewish paranoia that is baked into the culture that you grew up with, a lot of my Jewish friends grew up with.
And I
right?
don't think they understand why the paranoia exists.
Well, I think we're going to get into that, right? So Dov, maybe you speak growing up about what was taught to you about the Holocaust and the Spanish Inquisition and the countless times in history where Jews were removed from the country that they were hanging out.
I don't think that I had a different upbringing that everyone else saw.
You ruined it. You ruined it already. You ruined it already.
You had a chance
I don't
to
want to
complain.
fucking talk about it
One
anymore.
time you get to complain and no one would get mad.
It's unbelievable. I don't think my life was any different than anybody else's.
No,
It's unbelievable.
Jews, obviously, but
It's
not only my
unbelievable
family.
how you could be lobbed up an easy dunk, and then you could take it,
You're
and then
being
you could
anti-Semitic
punt
right
it
now,
into the
Andrew.
stands.
You're being.
It's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable. He had it on a silver platter.
What do you want me to say?
And it's like,
Say your experience and don't say it was just like ours.
I had
when
a
the entire
I had a
point-
lovely Jewish experience. Other people didn't. Okay, so I was
all right,
thinking
so then
you were-
what did he say that was so wrong then?
What does that mean?
No.
So if you had the same experience that everybody else, then what did he say that was so wrong about the Jews? You say you guys own all the banks, you own all the media, like that sounds like good thing.
Answer your question. No, answer your question because you're about to come around to what we were saying in the first place. But it's very important that you understand this. If you had no different upbringing, than anybody else here, and there's no knowledge base that you have than anybody else here, what was wrong about what was said?
Wow.
Just tell me. You said you had none.
I'm asking you. No, the normal history of the Jewish
amazing,
education.
right? When you
my
yell at
family didn't teach it. The movies taught it to me. The Holocaust movies, the classes, the history books. That's where we learned the crazy shit from the Inquisition. My family didn't go top to bottom, and this is what
Can I
happened.
be honest with you? I'm not saying it's
Yo, really? So if you're saying that, so Kanye didn't say anything wrong. He gave you guys a bunch of compliments.
Did you have
guys
Holocaust
own
education?
all the banks. You own all.
compliments.
Crazy. No, it's not crazy. It's not crazy.
Very pro-Semitic.
It's not crazy. What was crazy is me offering you the opportunity to explain yourself. But
Terrible question.
Andrew knows what I'm doing. And
I
please.
know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It was a very good question.
If you yell at Dove, don't let the hair fall on your face like that, okay? Because it was doing that a
I
little.
was putting mad.
Yeah, no, that's
not today.
made me uncomfortable.
Okay. So, excuse me for speaking on behalf of Jews, but you failed. Okay, so Jews are brought up understanding not only the Holocaust, but what led to the Holocaust. And it's very important to understand what led to the Holocaust, to understand why Jews have a very healthy paranoia about language and ideology that Kanye was saying on the podcast.
Thank you, Dove's proxy.
Now, the average American doesn't learn about what led to it. The average American doesn't know what Kristallnacht is. They don't know what Hitler... What?
That's what I'm going crazy at. Were you not in school? Did you guys not learn that? I'm saying my family particularly did not go through every single line item of the
So
thing.
it's like all the empathy. Literally everybody listening to the podcast right now, everybody listening to the podcast right now was on board. They heard the rant. They were like, Kanye's fucked up. And then Dove is just going, you're just evaporating. The empathy is evaporating.
Don't speak about me. Speak about people.
Can I just
As Jews, I'm fuming right now.
Don't be fuming, jeez.
Let me just get on.
What's wrong with you?
So they don't know the history that led up to the Jew. A lot of Americans, I don't think they actually believe this, but the history is taught like this: is like Jews were living in Germany, then 1942. Get them into the fucking gas chambers. There was a lot that led up to that point. There was the dehumanization of Jews, and it started with the language and ideology, the exact language and ideology that Kanye was speaking on.
Stop pointing at me, dog.
Sorry.
With the exact language.
Yeah. So when Jews hear that, they understand what that turns into better than anybody else. The reality is most non-Jews in America probably are sitting down going, there is no way there could be a Holocaust in America. And you know what? There were Jews in Germany that thought the same fucking thing. Yes. And you get taught that and we don't. I know it because I have so many close friends that are Jews that have explained this to me except you. Other ones. Okay. Now, the thing that Jews don't understand is that non-Jews don't learn about this. Like, you're so shocked. None of us learn about it. None of our parents tell us about it. We see Holocaust movies, and we're just like, oh, wow, that was a beautiful moment. America took out Hitler. That's fucking awful what happened. But we don't hear this is how a group of people were dehumanized and blamed for everything during a recession. We're right before a recession. This is like the worst time to be like, hey, those are the people with all the money. Those are the people with all the power. Those are the people with all the control while everyone in America is getting poor. This is like pre-World War II set up perfectly. So the Jews in America and around the world are hearing this, like one of the most influential people in the world right now is saying that we control the media and all the other, we control the banks and we control the institutions.
We own the black voice.
We own the black voice and all the other things that we heard happen in Germany. I'm sure happened in fucking Spain. I'm sure happened in every other fucking place you guys were kicked out of. Common theme. Listen.
Why they on land?
So drink champs, right? Drink champs. That's right. So Americans, white people, black people that do not know Jews and do not know the history and are not raised within the culture that really focuses on this as part of it, there's many other aspects of the culture, are looking at this and they're comparing their stereotypes to Jewish stereotypes in a vacuum. Alex is walking down the street and Alex goes, you know what, I gotta wear glasses because I'm less threatening to white people if I wear glasses even though I can see fine. He's making adjustments in his life to deal with his stereotypes. And
none of us know about.
Exactly. And then he hears stereotypes about Jews, which is like, oh, they think I own basketball teams, they think I own the media, they think I own banks. And he's like, well, give me some of them stereotypes, that shit's fire. Yes. So the average black person who does not have close Jewish friends is probably thinking that same thing and then seeing how Jews feel and then going, why are they so upset? They're just saying shit that I wish was our stereotypes. Now Jews are here going, here we go again. It's about to be the next fucking Holocaust. Why the hell is everybody not realizing this is how it happens? Because we're not taught how this turns into that.
And we're not taught it's happened throughout history. We're only taught the Holocaust. And to your point, we are taught about Kristallnacht. We might read a book about the Holocaust and a concentration camp, but we do not get taught what really happened leading up to it.
Fair. I wanted to meet in the middle somewhere where we're assuming, like, after a certain amount of time, like, we're all in school. We all are actually absorbing. You're meeting more. I grew up in a town of Jewish people. I'm also Moroccan. A lot of the crazy shit, definitely more in the Ashkenazi upbringing. Those
because they were right there.
They were there. So that is something that I can say. But we can also say that there should be a better education on that. But the reason why, I'll give you a big reason why we actually push back on it. One, it's a tiny percentage that do have that power, but it just speaks on this thing about dual loyalty. Like, you're assuming that we'll choose us before we'll choose like our best and closest friends and brothers, and we'll just go straight to that first. And that's just not true.
Right.
So
right. Look, I'm just trying to say is like I understand the confusion around the Kanye comments and why different groups were upset at different things.
Yeah.
You know, like Kanye wearing a White Lives Matter shirt, it's very hard for a white person to be upset at that because a white person is never going to think that his life doesn't matter. And so you have to remove the shirt meaning and go, oh, he's distracting from this other thing that's very important to bring attention to, right? But you're not going to get white people screaming, that's fucked up, because you look like a goofy.
Yeah.
Nobody likes those white people who are like, white people suck.
My life doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's why he, like you said, it wasn't that much risk in wearing the shirt. He just wanted to be provocative and get the attention.
Right.